So we are live on YouTube. If you guys noticed, I've been streaming with my shirt off more lately because I've been working out. And I kind of like how I look. I'm not saying I didn't like how I looked before, but I just look exceptionally good now. I'm really heavy though, so I gotta cut some weight. Um, but yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about, are men more emotionally intelligent than women? I believe so. I believe so, and I think it's very apparent. It's very, very, very apparent. And this is a topic that I don't think a lot of people talk about. And it's funny because men get a lot of a bad rap for not being emotionally intelligent, and when I think it's quite the opposite, right? And a lot of the times when you see women calling men not being emotional intelligent, it's usually stemming from men not being mind readers. Like, I've had females tell me, "Oh, you know, I'm on my period. You should be able to rub my feet and get me pads." And me, honestly, I've been fortunate enough to never have to do that. I've never did that in no relationship. I've never went to the store to get pads. I've never been asked to do that. I've been pretty spoiled when it comes to that aspect of the relationship. Um, but there's times where girls is like, "Oh, I'm on my period. You didn't even offer to rub my feet. What the fuck?" I'm like, "What do you need your feet rubbed for?" Like, And this is some guy I help married men with their relationships. Like, guys are paying me for this. So I guess when it comes to that, it's nothing wrong with catering to your woman when she's on her period. It's just something I've never had to do. Um, it's not even something I've been asked to do. I don't know. I just never been that guy. Not saying that I wouldn't do it. I just you know. But even still, the part where women lack emotional intelligence when it comes to expecting men to do things on their period is because, and a lot of people do this, so you can't say it's only men, but I see this more with women. But I get it. Your emotions and your how do you say, are not stabilized. Your hormones, the hormones are not stabilized. So a lot of irrational up and down emotions are going through your body. But when you lack emotional intelligence comes in, it's like expecting the next man to do what the last man did. These are two different people, right? And you're saying, well, I'm gonna be upset at you because you didn't offer me flowers, you're not being nice to me, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Where somebody like me, I've never been asked to buy a tampon. I've never been asked to, "Oh, I'm on my period, so can you rub my feet?" And just because the last guy did it, that doesn't mean that I have that level of awareness when it comes to you being on your period. I and I've been with, on my 32 years of living, I've been with a lot of women. And I guess that's relative. That's relative. But you can't expect me to know that when you're on your period, you want your feet rubbed. You want to be catered to. Like, okay, I've never did that. So if I've never did that, you have to speak. But instead of speaking, what some women do, they'll get mad and say, well, "Oh, you know, I'm upset with you." And why are you upset with me? "I'm upset with you because you didn't rub my feet. You didn't ask me that I want anything from the store. You went to the store and didn't get food." Well, one, I didn't know you were hungry. Now, there's nothing wrong with being considerate, right? Like if you go to the store, "Hey, do you want something from the store? I'm coming back," right? That's one thing. But if you're gonna get mad at me and say, because you're on a period, on your period, this is an excuse for me not to know what's going on. But I get it though, because a lot of women, they're like, hormones are stabilized. And I guess maybe that's not one of the best excuses, but being mad at someone, and then because you're mad, you decide not to talk to somebody for an entire month or entire week, is that emotional intelligence? I would say no, for plenty of reasons. Because one, guys aren't mind readers, and a lot of the times, and I'm pretty sure just about every guy's been through this, and I'm pretty sure 90% of women have done it. You're mad at somebody, and because you're mad at somebody, you don't vocalize it, and you just keep it a secret. And a lot of the times, even still, when women are mad, what they'll do is they'll just be mad and be upset, and the guy has no idea what's going on. And in a lot of situations, even myself included, I'll ask, "Hey, are you okay? Are you upset about something?" "Oh no, I'm fine." "Okay." And go about my day. And then, maybe some hours later, depending on the person, they'll be like, "Well, I think it's crazy how you did this and did that." "Well, I didn't know you like that." And me, sometimes, at first, I would say at first in an interaction with a female, I'm very simple until it just gets stupid, right? It's like, "Well, I didn't like how you did this and I didn't like how you did that." Okay, so you didn't like how I did this and you didn't like how I did that. Did I know you didn't like these things? Did I know you didn't want these things, right? And then you decide to not talk to me for an entire week? Is that smart? Now I get it, you're in your emotions, but that's not emotional intelligence. That's not emotional intelligence. Because you let your emotions run you. You allowed your emotions to make a decision for you momentarily. Is that emotional intellect? No, it is not. And I'm not saying some men don't do this. There are emotional as men, but those are fewer than many. A lot of women do this shit, especially when, like, when you see these situations where women are heartbroken, right? And you have some women that are heartbroken. Guys, make sure you double tapping the screen. Keep double tapping. You have some women that are heartbroken and they're upset. And what they'll do is they want to make the guy that they're upset at, they want to take it out on them. They want to make them upset. They want to get revenge some way, somehow. And what do? They end up going out and having sex with a whole bunch of people. Or even if it's not a whole bunch of people, they say, well, the way to get over the next guy is to get up under another. How is that? And then the part where you're just like, all right, well, I want to get revenge on him. So now, because you want to get revenge on the guy that hurt you, and you want to try to hurt him back, you want to go do something to get even. That's not emotional intelligence. It's not. Especially when you guys are done. If you're broken up and you're not getting back together, now you're just out there sleeping with people aimlessly because you're upset. You're not taking the time to recover. You're not taking the time to heal. You're out there just gaining bodies, risking yourself for STDs, STIs, all types of shit because you were upset. Now, if you ask me, I don't think that's emotional intelligence. I don't think that's emotional intelligence at all. You can't do something and allow your emotions to run you and think that that's emotional intellect. And I think it's so much so that, like, and this may sound this may sound misogynistic, but I think it's the reason why we don't have a lot of women leaders. A lot of women will make irrational decisions and destroy things. Like, I know women personally that when they go uh, break cars, bust tires, commit felonies, and some of these women will go to jail because they're upset, and they're so upset that they allow their emotions to take control of them. So upset that it lands them in jail. So now you're in jail, you're in prison, probably not prison for busting. That's a small felony, but it's not a big one, and that probably get reduced in court. You go bust somebody's tire, you go stab somebody, bust somebody's window, stab somebody, slash somebody's tires, do damage to a car because you were upset at somebody and your emotions got the best of you. That's not emotional intelligence. But think about, like, why you don't see a lot of woman leaders like that, because imagine if a woman leader do something, get emotional and in her feelings about some tragic or a terrorist attack, and now we're, you know, going to war with a country, and it wasn't that country, it was just a small group within that country that needs to be targeted, who the country also maybe is having problems with themselves, right? And I just think that when you understand these things as a man, it makes your job a little more harder. It's always a little more harder because now as a man, not only do you have to take that person's emotions into consideration, and not only do you have to take that person's emotions and try to regulate them, because a lot of the times when women are on their period, they come to you and they're like, I just feel insecure. I don't feel good at myself. Do you love me? Do you care about me? Do you even are you even still attracted to me? And it's like, yes, I'm attracted to you. Yes, I love you. Yes, I want to be with you. But God forbid and be like, yo, shut the fuck up. You know I love you. Like, why are you even asking me that? I just told you yesterday you look good. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I do react like that because it's so dumb. But when you react like that, it's not a good reaction. It's not a good reaction when you do that, because now it's like, oh, you hate me and you can't handle my emotions and you don't know what I want. And it's like, a lot of the times things get worse when you handle a situation like that. So because you have to be ultra sensitive and you have to be considerate and you have to be caring, now I have to be I have to like take your feelings into consideration. I have to be kind and careful with my words, because I know if I don't say the right kind words, it's going to make you more upset. But women don't do that, right? Women don't do that. They will say something quick out of anger. They will say something quick out of anger. Oh, yeah, yeah, you hate me. I bet. Oh, you hate me, don't you? Why do you hate me? How do I hate you? Because you didn't act. You went and got food and didn't ask me that I want any. That means I fucking hate you? Are you serious? What the fuck are you talking about? And don't get me wrong, guys. I'll be honest. Sometimes my temper does get a little off. Now, I don't get yelling crazy, and I don't react to little things like if I'm trying to be tested. Like, say, if, oh, this guy at work, he was trying to talk to me. No, all right. So you got a date coming up? What's the deal? Like, little things like, no, it's the stupidity. Stupidity and disrespect are the things that will fucking make a switch go off in my head, right? And it's like, oh, I bet you don't even love me. Why don't I love you? Because you didn't call me all day. What you mean? I've been texting you all day, right? Like, you don't care about me. You don't tell me you love. I literally just told you I loved you like an hour ago. You hate me. How the fuck do I hate you? Right? And it's just like the repetitiveness of the stupidity and the lack of logic. It kills me. But then when you get into situations like this, you can't say that men are not emotionally intelligent. If I have to watch my words and take into consideration for the things that you do and the things that you have going on, and even on another level, when it comes to buying gifts and doing things, in most cases, I'm not saying all, in most cases, when men do stuff for you, I'll take you on a trip. You know, men are buying cars and houses. Oh, but that's a man's role. Okay, cool, that's fine. But you have some women that are making just as much as men, and they don't do those kind of things for them. At the very most, this motherfucker's getting a nice pair of sneakers. He's going out to dinner. He's going to dinner in the movies, right? But some men will go over above and beyond. I know men, I've never dated personally, but I know guys who get like a bouquet of roses and wrap hundreds around them, and then like make little rose petals leading up to the bedroom, and say happy birthday on the bed surrounded by a heart, and they have teddy bears, and then have a section on the table in the hotel room with several gifts, and they're already on a $1,200 trip. They're already on a $1,200 trip. Women don't do these elaborate things. Now, I'm not saying all, but most aren't doing these elaborate things. They're not. Like, I put a video on my page, and the woman's saying, oh, if a man loves you, all you have to do is exist. What the fuck does that even mean? All you have to do is exist? And the fact that this fucking thought and train of thought is in this stupid ass theory can be in a woman's head, that all you have to do is exist. That's emotional intelligence. So you think that you can be in a relationship and you don't have to contribute at all? you think that you can be in a relationship and you don't have to, you know, cater to this person's feelings at all. Like, it doesn't make sense. So how can you say that women are more emotionally intelligent than men? They aren't. I think women lack emotional intelligence to the fullest, and I think that their wide array of emotions and them being so emotional, especially when women are on their periods, literally contributes to a lack of emotional intelligence. Women will get so worked up and make decisions based off emotions, so much so that it will contribute to a lack of emotional intelligence. A lot of women will crash out and do things because they are not thinking, they are being emotional. So when you have women saying that, oh, you're not emotionally intelligent, you don't do this, you don't, the fuck I'm not. Didn't you just last week you know, burn my sneakers because you thought I was cheating? Like, I seen all these situations. My years in life, I've seen all these situations. I've seen women do crazy things just because. The crazy situation, I had a guy who booked a phone call, and he's like, well, yeah, like, I was asking him, he was telling me about a new situation, but I was asking him about his old situation. He was like, oh, crazy story. She cheated on me. I was like, what? That girl loves you. What happened? Because I was trying to surprise her for her birthday, and her cousin, it was something about her cousin. He was talking to her cousin, trying to surprise her, and she read a bit of the conversation going through his phone, so she started cheating, and this motherfucker never actually cheated. He was just surprising her, and she came to find out, and she was telling him like, "Oh, I know you cheated. It's okay. I've been doing my own thing too." So he got her to tell her, and he's like, "You fucking idiot! I was trying to surprise you." But because she was so emotional and didn't take the time to confront him or verify, it just made a stupid decision. Because if you had emotional intelligence, you would have been smart enough to say, "Okay, what the fuck is this? This is very upsetting. Let me confront this person about this and say and see if he was actually really cheating." Right? But she didn't do that. And women do shit like this, maybe not to that extreme, but there's little nuances of a relationship where women will do things like this. That is not emotional intelligence. It's not. It's not. Now, I'm not saying that all women are lack emotional intelligence. What I'm saying is men are abundantly better at it than women. They are. 100%. They are. And just because men don't display a lot of emotions and men aren't super emotional and men aren't crying from watching a movie or crying just because they're PMSing, that doesn't mean that men aren't don't have emotional intellect. That's not what that means at all. And there's no way you can ever come to that conclusion because men aren't super fucking, crybaby-ish over silly situations, that men don't have emotional intelligence. That's not a good measuring stick. Like I've had women that I've dated literally tell me, "Oh, you're just so emotionless. You don't cry. I've never seen you cry. You don't do anything. You just sit there and have a stone face." Okay. That doesn't mean I don't have emotional intellect. I'm not overly emotional, right? And another thing that pisses me off when you talk about a lack of emotional intelligence is you can tell your woman something, right? You can tell your woman something and say, "Well, hey baby, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I'm happy that I met you," right? And you can say these things. Or even so much so, there's times where I said, "You know what? The girl that I'm dating, or the girl I maybe dated at the time, I said, you know what? To date, you're the best girlfriend I've ever had." 2 weeks later, "Oh, you hate me. Why don't you love me? I'm so insecure. Like, I saw you posted like your celebrity crush, and it just makes me insecure. Like, I know you had girls better than me in the past." Hey, what did I tell you last week or 2 weeks ago? Did I not say you were the best girlfriend that I had today? Right. Oh yeah, you did say that. So, with that being said, how can you still possibly be insecure when I'm telling you you're the best girlfriend that I had today? Did you not go over that? Did you not think about those past conversations that we had and draw a conclusion to right now and think maybe, oh well, maybe that can't be true. Maybe I shouldn't be insecure. Maybe he's not thinking about other women, or maybe those other women don't amount to me because I'm the best he's had so far. It came out of his mouth. But women don't do that. They don't. They don't. That's not emotional intelligence. If you can't recollect a past conversation and a past thought and infuse that into your current situation and use deductive reasoning to come to a conclusion that maybe I shouldn't be insecure about these situations because that motherfucker just told me he's the best I'm the best girlfriend he ever had. So if I'm the best girlfriend he ever had and he told me that just last week, then maybe I shouldn't think that girls he had before me are better than me. But no, a woman will still come to you. Oh, I feel so insecure. I noticed how when I tried to give you head today, you pushed me away and said that you didn't feel good and you had a stomach ache and you had to go use the bathroom. I had to take a shit. I wasn't trying to get head at the moment. Like what the fuck? Like are you serious? That's a real situation. I've been through that with different girls. Like dude, I'm fucking tired. I got 3 hours of sleep. Oh, you turned me down. I was trying to eat your ass and you turned me down. Like it just makes me what the fuck? Like I didn't sleep. I'm tired. Is that not reasonable? And then comes, oh, I just think that, you've dealt with girls or even still, there's been kind of crazy situations. Like I've dated like girls that are influencers, relatively pretty girls, and then I've dated a girl and then she's like, oh, I seen that girl you dated. You told me about her. Or she may have heard me talking about her with my friends. She was like, oh my God, I follow her. I have to unfollow her now. And now she's super insecure. But didn't I tell you the best girlfriend that I ever had? That's not emotional intelligence. And I think the tricky part is guys just kind of accept anything that women tell them about these kind of situations where there's this stigma that men don't have emotional intelligence and some men aren't romantic, but I think men are actually a little more romantic than women because men do these things. Women aren't doing these kind of things with men, right? I think that men are actually a lot more emotionally intelligent, and I think that men actually are a lot better at this. Just overall, when you think about these situations, it's never that way. You never have a situation where women don't use their emotions and come to a crazy conclusion, right? It's never that way. And even if you say like, all right, this woman isn't insecure. Let's say if a woman isn't insecure and she's not overly insecure and she doesn't cry about insecurities, but then she'll believe and have certain philosophies that also contribute to a lack of emotional intelligence. For example, happy wife, happy life. All right, you're not super emotional, but you believe in happy wife, happy life. And what does that mean? All right, well, that means that, if your wife is happy, then you're going to have a happy marriage. No, the fuck it doesn't. No, that's not emotional intelligence. Because if you take a look at that and you look at that whole philosophy and see what that means, that's saying that your emotions, how you feel, and what you think is prioritized over my emotions. How the fuck is that emotional intelligence? This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to be so extreme and say women don't have emotional intellect at all. But when the more you talk about it and the more we think about it, that's the way it's looking. But you can say, oh, I'm not super insecure, but then you believe in happy wife, happy life. So you believe that your emotions and how you feel and what you think it should be prioritized over mine. So you're saying your emotions are more important than mine. You're saying that you're more important than me. Absolutely fucking not. If we're saying things from the right way and how it should be, is well, our emotions should be equally prioritized. But I would say that's not even true because women make irrational decisions. Women make decisions out of emotion that in the long term may not be good for a relationship and it may not be good for a family. So that's why I feel men should have priority over certain things when it comes to making decisions. Now, don't get me wrong, some women are exceptional, but those are fewer than many. Some women can be good with money better than some men, but that is fewer than many. And a lot of women make emotional decisions that have repercussions that aren't good long term. So, if anything, it's it's happy husband, happy life, right? And that's really how it should go. And even when you look at it from a religious perspective, a man should lead for a lot of different reasons, right? We live in a different world today where women can make money, and we live in a civilized world where there's law and order, right? And most men aren't going to attack or kidnap women on a regular basis. Then most men are not going to do that. Why? Because they understand that if they do that, they'll be jailed. And most men are brought up and taught certain things that that's not okay to do. So we live in a civilized world that can be, you know, accommodating to women. But if anarchy comes in the streets today, that shit is going out the door. And what you'll see in past generations, that women actually accepted their role as being submissive and being a woman and having their men take care of them and being a leader under them. In parts of the world, it's still like that. But I think there's this illusion because women can make money and women have this privilege of making money and having freedom and be able to travel and do things on their own, which is still really dangerous. Even today, it creates this illusion that you don't need a man. And a lot of women may say and think that because our current, you know, circumstances in the world present that. But that's not the case in every society. And that's not going to be the case forever, right? Most societies only last 200 to 300 years. And ours is always looking like it's turning. And I don't wish that. I'm grateful for what we have, but listen, it ain't looking too good. But listen, the point is, men definitely have way more emotional intelligence than men. 1,000%. Women may be loving, women may be caring, women may be nurturing, but I don't think it's any mistake that in all the Abrahamic religions, men are the leaders. And I think this is probably why you never see women prophets. And I mean, like the ones in the book, not the ones people self-proclaim to be prophets. This is why we don't have a lot of women leaders, because of emotions and emotional intellect and just intellect in general and strategy and stuff like that. So I think this is a contributing reason. And for women that say men don't have emotional intelligence, just bring up some of these talking points and you will shut that conversation down quick fast. Unless you are a emotional ass motherfucker, right? But anyway, we'll take some questions on TikTok. I'm gonna end this podcast off here. And by the way, I'm not a red pill coach. Don't ever call me a red pill coach. I don't consider myself a red pill coach. I'm nothing like those guys from Fresh and Fit. I'm very balanced. I'm a God fearing man. I do believe in love. I do believe you can be in love, right? I do believe you can date. I'm not a red pill coach. I do agree with some of their ideology, though. All right, let's take some questions. So you are purple pill. I ain't no fucking pill. I'm me. How about that? All right, run those questions. What y'all got? Y'all got about 5 minutes. 5, 6 minutes. Let me get off this motherfucker. How do you deal with flaky women? You make your life look more desirable to where they want to be with you. Yo, KB, yesterday you mentioned you're more towards a lover boy. That what things do you do that are lover boy? Should I like kissing? I like holding hands. I like sweet talking. I like telling a girl you so beautiful, baby. Can I have a kiss? You know, little shit like that. But I got so much game that if I see a bit, if it's getting to a bitch head, I could switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Best boxer in history, to my knowledge, probably Floyd. That's always the go-to so far. What are your thoughts on women presidents? I don't have no thoughts on women presidents. It's never been a thought in my head. What do you think about Travis Hunter's situation? I already hit the link in the bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I already did a whole video on that shit. I think that it's a unique situation, and I think his girl really does love him. But when a woman is not your type and she has to grow on you, you're never gonna get the best of her. You're never gonna get the best of her, and that's really what it is. You always want to be with the girl who wants you more than you want her. Those are ideal situations. Or a girl who's just it for you. How does this flaky shit happen so often? Because you haven't piqued her interest. Either that or she's not super interested in you. Um, that's usually what it is. Are you doing things to? There's something along your game that's allowing you to keep to be flaky. I'm gatekeeping cologne. How am I gatekeeping cologne? I have some cologne. KB, we need some discipline, self-discipline podcast. Well, guys, I actually have a program, my 60-day challenge program. I have a few guys in there. I'm about to get their testimonials. I think maybe 8 guys started, only 3 finished. And it's a program where you get task every day. You have to check in every day. There's 2 coaches. It's me and another guy. He's a fitness coach. He's also a professional fighter too. And we basically give you task every day. At the end of the program, it's supposed to help you be more disciplined. You start new habits, and that's the whole point of it. And the whole idea behind it, if you can do something every single day, discipline, you can be successful. Because if you can do a task every day, if you can do a something every day as far as business goes and stay consistent with it over the course of time, you can be rich. But you can do it through discipline, and obviously doing things in a certain manner also contribute to your success and your mindset. And that's basically what the program is. So the first one was free. I think the next one we will charge. But I know guys that are doing this and they're making $20,000 a month off of this. We're not charging that, charging significantly less. And the price hasn't even really been decided on yet. The price hasn't been decided on yet for that, but we'll get to it. But yeah, I actually do have a discipline podcast. Go on to subscribe to the Spotify podcast, link in the bio, and go listen to it. Uh, is it fair to end a relationship when you realize she's just unreasonable person? Absolutely. Even if you end the relationship and get back with her, because that's gonna make her realize that she's so unreasonable that you don't want to be with her. And if she says, "Okay, fuck it, let's just stay broken up," then she's not the girl for you. Because she's so stuck in her ways that she doesn't even want to actually try to help or change things. What do you think about the difference between general intelligence between men and women? Difference in general intelligence. I mean, the women can be just as intelligent as men, but when we look at the contribution to the world, most inventions are from men. So I mean, I don't know. And even still today, that's still a thing. Most inventions come from men, and then women are having more schooling nowadays than anything. But that factor has not changed. I mean, I'm not gonna say men are more intelligent, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question. How can I gain mass as a boxer the same way you gain mass as a bodybuilder? Eat and get some muscle. You lift. Broke up with my ex 1 year because she was forcing me to reassure her and tell her she's pretty. That's extreme, bro. You broke up with your ex because she wanted you to tell her she's pretty? What the fuck is wrong with you? See, that's the bullshit. You on some Myron shit from Fresh and Fit. I broke up with my girl because she told me to tell her she was pretty. It's too much. What the fuck? Come on, bro. You're doing too much. That's fucking crazy, actually. I enjoy your content plus AMS. I appreciate it. I used to watch AMS. What do you think about the difference? Oh, you asked me that on here. How do you deal with a flow? You asked me that on there too. Bro, where do you meet good women? They're everywhere. You just have to filter them out. Uh, filtering ebook is coming. It's just trying to find the fucking time to work on this shit. But yeah, you have to filter them out. You have to be able to filter the woman out, and you have to have a basis for filtering women. There's a series of, references that you should have when it comes to filtering the woman out, right? But it takes time. You're not gonna wife a woman within a month, right? That's another thing that contributes to emotional intelligence. If you think that you can wife a girl within a month of knowing her and think that she's qualified herself enough for her to be your girlfriend, that's not emotional intelligence. That's something that takes time. But you can find a good woman on a dating app. You can find a good woman in the mall. You can approach good women. But you have to get to know them in their personality. And once you get to know them in their personality, then you'll be able to decipher whether this woman is a good woman. But you have to have a series of, um, you know, references or a reference sheet. Like, is she a vindictive woman? A vindictive woman is not somebody who you want to wife, because she will do something out of spite to hurt you or try to get revenge, that, and amongst, 20 other things that you should use. And then it takes time to see somebody's personality, because everybody's on their best behavior and faking a funk for about a month or two, right? So when you're trying to find a good woman, it takes time, and you have to have the right criteria to go by in order to, find that good woman. All right. I mean, she did consistently want me to say it. Now, I mean, you could say it sometimes, but you gotta have a balance. Reassurance all the time in a relationship, you can't do that, because then it becomes too much, and they're not grateful for it. How do you determine if you're clipping first date or second date? That's not always up to you. Sometimes your game ain't good enough. That's simple. I mean, if you want to, but if you feel like that's gonna alter whether you want her long term, it's all based off you want. If you want a long term relationship, sometimes there's times with girls I clipped on the first date and we had years. We've been years together, so it all depends on our character. It still goes back to that filtering mechanism. My ex argued with me about mishearing her and argued that I was lying about what I heard with my ears. What? Yeah, women do a lot of irrational shit like that. That should be annoying though. You ever thought what? You ever thought of joining a debate live on TikTok about your opinion? I have, but I don't be wanting to get in all that shit. Yeah. I mean, I would, but I'm not really. I don't really care for that right now. I'm really not trying to go back and forth with somebody. I'm pretty solid in my scope of the world. And really, that shit comes down to bringing facts. Because when you bring the facts and you bring all the facts to it, there's really no argument. If it isn't obvious, girls likes you, then she doesn't like you. Is that true? I don't know what the fuck you just asked me. If it isn't obvious a girl likes you, then she doesn't like you. Nah, that's not necessarily true. Um, I would say in a lot of cases it should be pretty obvious if a girl likes you. Let's see that poll collection. That's not the whole collection. That's something different. Don't worry about that though. Those are just props for TikTok purposes. Those are props. And that was kind of a hey yo pause. It's just, let's see that poll collection. Pause, my guy. Pause. That's what I meant. It wasn't genuine. She was trying to mold me into a lovey-dovey boyfriend and felt forced. Yeah. If that's not you, that's not you. He said, "See that Superman trailer." I actually did, but that's not what we're here to talk about, brother.
All right. Is that all the questions? Because we're about to end this one off.